How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Ray Talks Hoop. Today, we're going to talk about why it might be in the Raptors' best interest to just go ahead and tank the rest of the season. So, in case you've been living under a rock, the Toronto Raptors have not been doing too well as of late. They had a slow start to the season. I believe they lost the first 3 games in a row, and then they picked it up for a few months. They won a couple games in a row. They went on a couple of 3-game win streaks in January and in February, and at their very best, they were the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference earlier this year. But right now, things are not looking too well for the Toronto Raptors. They've only won 2 games in the past 5 weeks. One of these games was on February 26th, and the other one was on March 24th. And in my opinion, a lot of this had to do with their chemistry being ruined, and here's what I mean by that. A few weeks ago, some of their best players were not able to play due to protocols with the whole pandemic. Because of that, the team was losing game after game when they did not have these players. And now that Bleet and these other guys are finally back, their chemistry does not look the same as it did a few weeks ago when they were winning a lot of games. A few months ago, I even made a video saying why I believe Chris Boucher should be the most improved player this year if he was able to keep up the play style that he was playing at a few months back. Now, unfortunately, as of right now, it does not look like Chris Boucher has been able to maintain that play style. In just the last couple of games, Chris Boucher has had 2 points, 4 points, 7 points, 5 points, 18 points, and 4 points yesterday. Although the other night he had 18 points and 11 rebounds and that looked very good, he is not looking like the same Chris Boucher back when I made that video saying that he should be the most improved player. And then the next player is Fred VanVleet. He is still scoring the ball at his usual rate, but in just the past week, there's been games where he's only shot 7 for 20, 7 for 19, and 8 for 24. So obviously, none of those are very good percentages, but believe it or not, I don't really think this is all Fred VanVleet's fault, and here's why. It's no secret that the Raptors are losing games. Fred VanVleet is one of those people who just comes out with that winning mentality. He went from being an undrafted player to an NBA champion, and he just recently signed an $85 million contract. So when it comes to Fred VanVleet, the last thing anyone should associate with him is laziness, a poor work ethic, or anything like that. So why is Fred VanVleet shooting such a poor percentage? If I had to take a guess, it's because Fred sees that his teammates are not playing at the level they were playing at just a few weeks ago. So because Fred has that winning mentality, he's gonna take more shots in hopes of making more shots. And he's only a human being. He's gonna make shots, he's gonna miss shots, it is what it is. So if I had to take a guess, the reason Fred is not shooting the best percentage ever is because he's taking more shots to try to balance out his teammates not scoring as much as they were scoring just a few weeks ago. And then yesterday, Siakam had 14 points and his percentage was not very good at all either. He shot 5 for 14, so somewhere in the mid 30s, around 35% from the field for Pascal Siakam. And as we all know, this Norman Powell trade really hurt the Raptors defense. Do I think Gary Trent Jr. is a good defender? Yes, I do. Do I think he is a better defender than Norman Powell? No, I do not. Do I think he has the potential to be a better defender and a better offensive player than Norman Powell? Yes, I do. Do I think that's going to happen this year though? No, I do not see that happening for at least another year or two. And Rodney Hood is also a good defensive player, but he's one of those players that he's really good sometimes, and other times you might not even notice that he's on the court. And if you want to take it a step further, we can even say that Serge Ibaka's absence is still hurting the Raptors defense. Back when the Raptors had Ibaka to play down low, the Raptors defense was better all around. This guy could defend the paint, he could switch onto the perimeter, he really understood how to read the court from a defensive point of view. So when it came to having a big man defender, Serge Ibaka was pretty much the ideal fit. And if you want to see just how much the Raptors defense is hurting right now, for the Detroit Pistons, Bey, Lee, and Hamidou Diallo each had 19 points yesterday, and they all did this on more than 50% shooting from the field. These guys are 21, 21, and 22 years old. So even though I'm happy for them as individuals, you can clearly see that they've been working hard and working on their game. If we're looking at this from a Raptors defense point of view, there is no way the Raptors should be allowing three 20-year-olds to drop 20 points on you and all of them to do this on 50 to 60% shooting from the field. It's pretty inexcusable. So good job to them and good for the Pistons, but for the Raptors, you guys have to play better defense. It is what it is. Even the Toronto native, Corey Joe, he had a very good night yesterday. Corey had 14 points on 63% shooting, and I believe he's like 29 or 30 years old now. So if I were the Raptors front office, this is what I would do and why I would do it. I'm not really concerned with trying to make it to the playoffs this year. It would be a different story if the Raptors were still the 4th seed in their conference. Then yeah, at that point you need to double down and figure out what is the best way to win a championship if you are going to be the 4th seed entering the playoffs. But right now, as the 11th seed, I don't really see much of a benefit in trying to make it to the 8th seed. It would be much more beneficial to the Raptors if they just tanked the rest of the season and they were able to get a good draft pick and pair him up with Gary Trent. Those guys could develop together. You could also keep developing Chris Boucher. Malachi Flynn, I still believe in the long run, and OG has developed a lot quicker than I expected. So I would not take the chance of trying to make it to the playoffs when you know you're not going to win a championship this year, as opposed to just tanking the rest of the season, getting a good player in the draft, and being a very good team in the next 2 to 4, maybe even 5 years. And the fact of the matter is, Kyle Lowry just turned 35 years old last week. Do I think he is still good enough to be the starting point guard on a championship team? Absolutely. He was more than good enough just a few years ago when they won the championship, so we're not going to sit here and act like he suddenly got worse. But the truth is, he is 35 years old already. How old is he going to be by the time the Raptors are finally able to compete for a championship? Is it going to be in 2 years? Is it going to be in 3, 4, 5? I don't know. So that is definitely something to consider. At least I'm glad he's not going to be retiring without a ring like some of the other great point guards in NBA history, but it would just be very sad if Kyle Lowry were to retire in the next 1 to 4 years and just a year or 2 after he retires, the Raptors win another championship. And that is not something I would like to see for Kyle. I would really just cut Kyle's minutes, cut the amount of games that he's playing in, load manage him a lot so that he can still be fresh and healthy next season and the following seasons there to come. And if the Raptors are able to land a Cade Cunningham or someone who is a top prospect, they develop him with Gary Trent Jr. They focus on developing him, Gary Trent, and all those other young guys. If they do that and they make a couple of trades, if they're able to sign a couple of players as well, I definitely see them winning a championship in the next couple of years. But that would be if everything goes in their favor, and a lot of the times it is a lot easier said than done, as you all know. I definitely don't think the Raptors should try to make the playoffs this year because they would be giving up the potential to have a very good team in the next couple of years. Give this video a thumbs up if you made it all the way through and hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. I am out of here.